Hey, welcome back to MobilityWOD. Got a good one for you today. You may look around the laboratory. We're in the gym. We're in the lab. Jill Miller, my sister in fascia and movement and badass practices, is here. We are working on a project about soft tissue restoration, destruction, trying to degristle the leopards and the leopardesses out there. But one of the things we're talking about is looking at the ankle range. Now, I'm always advocating for a hard ball. They're cheap, these lacrosse balls. But a softer ball gives us a lot of options that we've talked about in the past. And Jill's ball, you can see, is grippy and it just licks you. And it's like a cat tongue licking your face.
It's like suede, grippy suede.
Grippy
it's
suede.
We're back to the 70s now.
GrippySuede.com. Check it out. So here's the deal: is that this Jill and I were just talking about one of the problems that we see. Let me show you something. So kind of your structure.
Yes.
When we're looking at ankle range in athletes as a physio, one of the things that I'm clearing up is that when we bring that foot into full dorsiflexion, that especially the heel, is that this fibular head needs to glide out of the way because it's basically a pin, and as the ankle comes through, it has to spread out a little bit. And then what's really happening is that the ankle comes forward, right? Then what's really happening with this joint, this talus is that this bone needs to glide out of the way. And if it doesn't glide, if it stays sticky, then it acts like a jam and literally limits the range of motion. So your physios have a lot of clever ways to get this mobilizing. But Jill, in her geniusness, just showed me an awesome technique that she's using, and she's going to show us there about clearing this up. So after an ankle sprain, remember our basic model is this. If something's in a bad position, put it in a good position. Then get it moving. So if something's in the wrong position, get it in the right position, get it moving. So what Jill does here is go ahead and set us up and talk us through it.
So I put the ball just in front of that malleolus, that little knuckle on the side of the ankle. And you got to get down on the ground for this. And then I aim the foot down. I put a ton of pressure on the lower leg and drive the foot over the ball. And the ball is actually pushing the bone backwards.
Which is exactly the kind of thing we're happening. The only thing that we're missing here is pulling the foot through. And I wonder if we didn't put Jill up on the table. Let's try that, Jill. I don't know if you could you actively dorsiflex, or are you doing that right there?
Yeah, so, or I can lock it in place. So I'm pushing into the top malleolus and sandwiching the other malleolus into the ball, right? So the ball is still tracking the bone towards me, and then I can mobilize the ankle.
Love it. So what ends up happening is that we always are trying to create that movement with the mobilization as often as we can.
And then I can try to push.
I love it. So now she can get that heel down.
Yeah.
And as that's moving, and then tack that foot through. And so this is one of the first things that I'll clear up after an ankle sprain. And that's one of the things I absolutely check when someone is missing ankle range. And this is a brilliant way to be able to take this on. Now, you can't do this with a lacrosse ball because it's not going to kind of support that bone, that malleolus or that fibular head.
This is pliable enough that the bone can actually be cushioned inside of the ball.
And trapped.
Right, and so then the ball grips all the other soft tissues and creates a ton of shear all around that joint capsule, or all around that joint range.
And one of the things we notice is that when people are wearing shoes with elevated heels,
Not me.
not the Miller, that's one of the things that gets sticky because that foot is down all the time and it gets jammed.
Yeah.
So one of the things to look at, you've got a sprained ankle, you've got to restore that motion, or you come off of a heel, or you're missing that range. Cleaning this joint up makes a big, big difference. It's like you're my psychic twin.
Thank you.
You're like a stronger, bigger, blonder version of me.
I'm like a float of you.
A float. See you guys tomorrow.